Here, leave it. I want to hear that nice mic there, Ted.
Welcome to Split the Defense.
Split the Defense.
LEAFS Postgame Edition. Split the Defense is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas. Alongside co-host Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans, here's your host, Jordan Webster.
Leafs lose 4-1 against the Boston Bruins. 7th loss in a row to the Bruins for the Leafs. And they've been outscored 8-2 in the last 2 matchups in the last week. We're back on Split the Defense, Leafs post-game. I'm Webby here with CP and producer Ted in the booth. Please take a second, thumbs up this episode, subscribe to our YouTube, rate it 5 stars on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to, and leave us a comment. We will respond. So, what do you think of this one, CP? And you got a first star?
You love the first stars on losses. It's a curveball I never think of. I mean, it's got to be Bertuzzi. There's no one else I could think of. I mean, Domi would be a close.
Just Bertuzzi's left hook.
Yeah, double uppercut. Domi, I mean, close second. The 2 guys that just get it. You know, like, I understand that, like, the rest of the team must be, like, awfully sick. They're either highly medicated or running to the bathrooms right now. Like, it's hard to tell, but, like, just Matthews isn't Matthews. Like, Marner, he scored. He was definitely feeling better than Matthews is. Like,
What
I can tell
a
you that.
snipe by Marner, too.
Yeah, but, yeah, there was 2 guys on the ice that really got it, and, like, you know, there's definitely some, like, the defense is tougher than it's ever been. I'd say, like, I love that McCabe gets in there and stuff, but as far as playing hockey goes, just not the night. I mean, you better not see that in playoffs, because that was just. Yeah.
You know what? This team, they may not have won, but this team in years past, they would have not went out like that. Tonight, They went out fighting. They caused some shit. They look a lot tougher. They looked tougher than the Bruins all night. I just don't think that this team is the same team, and whether that pays off in the playoffs or not, I'm not sure. But 100% the flu bug was going through. It was a rough night for a few people. The first rough night I want to start with, though, was Matthew Nyes. And I think that played a lot into this game. Losing your top line left winger does not help. So just start off the game. He serves a penalty he didn't even take.
Yeah.
Then he gets blindsided by Marchand and leaves the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sets the tone right there and changes the whole game. We can talk about setting the tone here in just a second. Domi tries to get retribution later in the game, but Marchand, he just wasn't interested in paying his rat tax. Domi, however, did go at it with McAvoy. Like, this team is different. They fought. They definitely fought their way through it. But that right there, losing Matthew Nyes that early in the game, being down a forward, and especially a top-line forward, whatever you want to think of Matthew Nyes, he plays top-line left wing. That was really a big effect on this game.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it just from the get-go, like, that play, like, I don't know, like, Marchand just gets me going so quickly, you know, like, that it's, if that's anyone else, I'm, like, probably going to give him benefit of the doubt that it's on accident, but, like, you can see that he's, like, almost lining him up, like, it's just, I like that Domi kind of went at him, you know, 2 periods later, but, you know, you'd like to see a little bit more right away. Like, I know it's kind of, you're in the offensive zone and everything, but, I mean, when a guy goes down, like, I don't know, just take a look around. Like, I'd like the guys to, on the ice then, to kind of do something, especially it's Marchand, you know, like, you got to keep your eye out for anything that he does, right?
I mean, he did eat a cross-check to the face earlier in the night. Just for, like, no reason, just because he's Brad Marchand, which was awesome. So we talk about that. McCabe starts the night off setting the tone. He cross-checks DeBrusque, and then within 5 seconds, in the throat, and then within 5 seconds, Marchand also in the throat. Leads to a 5-on-3. Boston scores the first goal of the game. Is that tactical? Is that a set the tone kind of thing? Alex Hobson, he tweeted and suggests he wonders if this is the 4 months late retribution for the Lily injury. What was McCabe thinking there?
I mean, he's coming out and trying to set the tone. Like it's a matter of like, I was a little nervous because I thought we were gonna just pay the Leafs tax right away and get, like a 5 or something crazy. But then like I was like, okay, it's only getting a 2. But then they messed up the entire call as well, which just is a whole other topic. But yeah, like I don't know, like it's one of those plays where like, yes, you put your team down, but like you're trying to get the edge, and like part of me now coming like being at the end of the game makes me think that like McCabe had a feeling that this was going to be a losing game anyway, based on how the team's feeling. So might as well get out there and, get your shots in, start early and, get the last shot in as well. So I don't know, there's possible that, but I like that. It's not like it's a game that's really going to change anything. If it's in the playoffs and you take a penalty like that, like that's a no bueno. But at this point of the season, and you're trying to kind of,
you know what? Honestly, like I get it. Like it was a penalty. Like it was wrong penalty. They never should have been 5-on-3 in the first place. McCabe should have got both penalties. Nye shouldn't have been in the box. Like, at the end of the day, it all got fucked up by the refs, and that's the reason the goal went in the back of the net. And McCabe did set the tone, and if they didn't get scored on, it would have been a totally different game because the Leafs were chasing from there out, right?
Sure.
Like, you never know what happens after that point. And the refs, they made the wrong call on that. Put Nyes in the box, and, I mean, Nyes is out for the rest of the game. But the point is that the 5-on-3 should have never happened.
Yeah, 100%. And, like, even the same play happens for Boston. They get the call like half right because they at least called the penalty on one player, but it should have been 4 minutes for one penalty because he's bleeding.
Yeah, thanks.
So
okay,
like, yeah, it's just like you got it half of it right again, but no, screwed it all up.
Okay, so yeah, Bertuzzi. That was Bertuzzi takes a stick in his face, right in front of the net. They get 2 for interference and 2 for high sticking. Then he spits blood on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, if it's 2 separate penalties, should the high sticking penalty not be a double minor? And now we got 4, right? Like,
yeah.
all of a sudden, it should have been a 6-minute penalty. Like, and the thing I don't know what to tell you. They fucked it up all night.
Yeah, and the thing is like he seemed to like recognize that like initially, like kind of Bertuzzi goes and he like holds his lip. The ref looks at him, he spits, and the ref's like, yeah, okay, and like skates away. And then, like, between leaving Bertuzzi and getting to the bench, like, I think that's why Bertuzzi took a second to put up a stink, because he was just like, wait, like, I thought we already discussed it. Like, I know it's 4 minutes, but, like, that would be if there was only one penalty. So, and also, like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a 6-minute penalty like that kind of would have been.
No, I don't think I have either. But then maybe that's why, like, do we really want to do that? But, like, fuck, that's what it should have been, especially if you're going to call 2 separate penalties on that, which it was. That's exactly what it was, 2 separate penalties. And he should have got the, I don't know, he should have got the one for the extra blood. He's yelling at the ref on the bench. He wasn't happy about it either. Just a crazy, chippy, rough game from both sides tonight. If we face these guys in the playoffs, it is going to be a bloodbath. Yeah.
I'm actually, like, low-key really excited for it. Like, kind of, it sucks that we got to play Boston. Like, it's kind of like, seems like the same thing over. Like, at least it's not Tampa, but I just feel like based on tonight, like it's going to be like a rough and entertaining series. And I don't feel like Boston is so much better than Toronto that they can't win. So like, I feel like if like, the Stars didn't show up tonight, well, let's just hope that it's because of sickness. And like, if they do, it's a totally different game. And like you said, it's like over 7 games. I felt like, so like in the first period, it felt like the exact same thing from Monday, where like, yeah, the Leafs can like kind of get some stuff going, but for the most part, things are getting broken up and they're getting finished on every single check. Like Boston like refuses to not finish a check. And then like, and that's how the first period ended kind of for me. It was just like, well, yeah, I got kind of unlucky on the penalty, but like still kind of being outworked and outplayed. And then like felt the change in the second, like you're getting real fight back, and like things are every scrum, it feels like the Leafs are getting the better hand, and then Bertuzzi gets in a fight, And I guess Marner scored before that, right? Bertuzzi gets
What
in
a
a
fight from Burt, by the way. Like, look, can we
Yeah.
talk about that for a second? Big
Sure, yeah.
fight with Witherspoon. He drew him into that. He waited and waited. You want to go? You want to go? Yeah, he wants to go. And then he pounds his head in. Like, he did not resist. Just lefts. And Mike Johnson goes, he's a lefty. Gordon says he is now.
Yeah, for sure. Even like he
did
switched
not
it up.
hold back on that.
That's a guy who knows how to fight. Like switching hands is something that all the best fighters do. Like I hear Jay Rosehill talking about it all the time. Like the switching hands is something that like if you're not a fighter, like you just never do. You're always too nervous, too scared to do it. But Bertuzzi just switching it up, feeding him uppercuts over the top. Like, yeah, he connected. And I feel like it was a misunderstanding too. It's not that he really had to convince him. I don't think that like the other guy understood that Bert had already dropped his gloves, you know, and like they were kind of just like, "Are you going? Are you going?" And Bert's like, "Let's go! Come on! Like I'm already done it." So yeah, great. I love that. And then like from there, it just like William Nylander just kind of like lets down the team, you know, like multiple bad plays. Like takes it like then too many men on the ice is I think his fault because Reeves never actually asked for a change.
It was totally his fault, 100% his fault.
And then
he had a rough night.
Yeah, 2 defensive plays where like directly those goals are on him, I would say. So.
Defensive. What about the offensive one where he's skating the puck across the top of the zone and he gives the puck away? Frederick gets a break and scores. Now, I mean, is that a bad decision by Nylander? Just a bad bounce? Are you giving him that one? Like,
that's a play that like if he makes it, like I still consider it like really risky, you know, like especially because if he gets around that guy,
he makes it so often.
Yeah, but not in really that way. Like if he makes that play, he's still skating directly into 3 other players. It's not like it's an open like slot or anything where he gets a chance. So I didn't think it was worth it, but like that's how William Nylander is going to play. It's just you just want him to make that play. So like I was counting that as one of the defensive plays. Like I know it is an offensive mistake that he can't get back for, and at the same time, though, like Wool probably should have had it. Like William Nylander did put some pressure on, and it's not a great goal, to be honest.
Not a great goal. Flu is going around the Leafs room, but rough night for Willie. Like I think he was one of those people that was feeling maybe the flu effects. Maybe he wasn't sick yet, or he's not sick enough to not play, but he couldn't make a pass tonight to save his life. And you're talking about Boston getting sticks in the way. But, like, Calle Yarncroke came out with legs tonight. He made shit happen. There were other players tonight that were wheeling and dealing, and William Nylander just wasn't one of them. I think Austin Matthews is sick as well. But William Nylander is seriously struggling with something. So JT's back on the top power play. That didn't last with Bertuzzi, eh?
Well, I think because Bertuzzi got shaken up there. Like the penalty was on him.
Well, he went back out for the next one too.
Oh, well, I didn't really recall that, but for the initial one, I think he didn't get it because he got the
I
the
understood
stick.
that too.
Yeah, but well, they went back to him. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. To me, it's not a really change that's going to change much. You know, like it's a different player, but they're doing the same job. Like I kind of trust them to play the net front the same. They just play them slightly different ways. So I don't know, not a deal breaker for me. That's for sure.
No. So beginning of the game, crazy save for Joey Woll. Bouncing puck off the stanchion. There was actually another one later in the game off the stanchion as well, or something off the glass. But how did you think of Woll's performance? In the last 2 games, he's given up 4 goals. 2 of the people were probably going to play in the first round unless they get ahead of Florida, which at this point, I'm not sure is going to happen. How do you feel about Woll?
Not amazing. It's kind of like I want to give him some leeway here because he's like just getting back from injury, but like he played excellent in his first game, like for the Marlies. So, you know, he has the ability to, but I don't know. He's just not
the
quite.
AHL, though.
Yeah, he's just not quite seeing the puck great. You know, he's not making amazing decisions. Like on every goal tonight, you could probably like say, I know one's across the crease, but it's still like he plays it not very well. So I don't know. Not good. You know, like if the playoffs started tomorrow, Sammy's the goalie.
Sammy? Yeah, okay. So now we're on the same page. That's where I was going with this. 2 weeks ago, that was not the conversation we were having. We were
No.
just waiting for Joe Wool to come back and be healthy, and he was going to come and save the day. And now at this point, it's really a concern because, like, what if Sammy turns into a pumpkin again? Like, do you think the Leafs are even going to bother shopping at the deadline here for a goalie? Like, you've got what, like 15 hours at this point less, like 17 hours, 16 and a half hours at this point until the deadline.
They're not going to shop a goalie, I don't think. I think, like, I'm confident that one of the two are going to be really good. I just think that, like, if it was started, like I said, tomorrow, it'd be Sammy. But, like, Wool's not so far behind that, like, in 2 weeks, I wouldn't give it to him if he's playing really well. So I think that, like, I'm fine with how it's set up. I like that they're, like, that Sammy's bounced back. Like, that's a way better option to me than Martin Jones. And, like, if you're shopping a goalie, it'd be, sending one out, I'd say, not necessarily bringing one in. So, no, I think you just go with it. You kind of see how this goes. You've gone this far with it, and, like, if it doesn't work, then you rethink, like, whether you actually need a number one goalie in the offseason. But these are our goalies.
That's a good point. Okay, so I have a tweet from Nick D'Souza here. He breaks down the game and leaves his points, and I just want to discuss it. So he says, goal 1's a power play goal. Goal 2 is the Nylander turnover we discussed. Goal 3 is another power play goal. And goal 4, a point shot gets through. He says, don't think the game is as bad as the score suggests. Biggest takeaways so far. 1, Toronto needs to improve the PK. 2, Toronto needs Holmberg back on the fourth line. 3, Toronto certainly look tougher.
I can't argue with any of those points. Those are all correct, for sure.
I told him I was taking it because it's just so legit. Like, I agree with everything in that tweet. Toronto needs to improve the PK. Will Joel Edmondson do that? New pickup Joel Edmondson?
He will.
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, a lot of, like, tonight, Nylander made a big mistake on the PK. So, like, I'm hearing more and more that they're getting a fourth line winger. So ideally, like, that guy plays the wing. Like, Nick Dowd is the kind of been thrown out there. That guy would be perfect. Just hope it, like, if that's what they're going, they're not getting another defenseman by the sounds of it. Like, tomorrow we might see a winger show up, and, like, that's kind of it. So
I'd be okay with that. I think they need kind of an upgrade on the forward group there. But Nick Dowd, that's it's going to be expensive. He's got another year left in his contract. He's cheap, and he works really well for a lot of teams that are contending. So if he's available, he's going to be a high price. I think Washington may rather just keep him at this point. So
I think that would be kind of a mistake for them. Like, they're not going to be good. And
I think they're stuck in their own heads. I don't think they're ever going to want to be, like, maybe in a couple years when Ovi finally goes, but I don't think they're going to want to be bad. Like, they're still going to want to surround Ovi again next year with a good team. So
to me, like, they should be trying to, like, get as many assets as possible and just make sure you have a good line for Ovi and a good power play. Otherwise, like, try and get, like, Nick Dowd, I think, is going to get more than he's worth. I want him on the team. I think that he's kind of the perfect guy. Plays with bite. He can also, like, take faceoffs. He PKs. He's a guy that every time the Leafs play against, I, like, always notice him. He's always frustrating to play against. So, like, if you got to overpay for him, like, why wouldn't Washington accept an overpayment at this point? But I hear your point. Like, yeah, he's a great player. Like, he's kind of a guy you would like to build, like, have your young players see play. Like, he puts his heart and soul in. So that's the reasons I want him too. So.
Yeah, and it's just Toronto doesn't have the assets compared to if he's available and he's a price that Toronto could afford. There's a lot of teams that are contending that can outbid Toronto. And that is my point on that. So I don't think that they're going to be in the race for a Nick Dowd. They're going to be looking in places that you don't expect. Like, I didn't think about Joel Edmondson 4 days ago. That wasn't even on my radar. So
no, the nice thing to hear is that he can play the right side, which I kind of ruled him out.
Well, we've heard that before.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, he's not like he's a third pairing kind of guy. He's just there to cross-check guys in the back.
How many third pairing kind of guys do we have on this team?
No, like I've said this a bunch of times. Like, this is a team that's got like 9
But you're saying it with
defensemen.
conviction right now. Yeah, well, he's a third pairing kind of guy. He's useful. Yeah, I know they are useful, but, like, you can only have so many.
I know, 100%. I don't think that this was the perfect, like,
there's
player
only
to
one
get.
third pairing.
Yeah. I'm 100% agree. I don't think this was an amazing deadline for Brad Treliving. Like, he went out and he did more than I actually thought, but it's one of those where he tried initially to take all of these things that he's willing to trade and get one good piece, and no one was willing to do that. And so now he's like taking all those same pieces and getting a bunch of things. So it's just like, that's a guy that I would like for the playoffs. Like, I would 100% rather him play the right side than Liljegren if he's going to do some damage and wear on a team for 4 games. And then maybe you put Liljegren back in once the other team's taking a beating. But like, we've experienced the beating this guy can take. So I'm not upset about him coming. Like, I welcome him. I like you said,
Wayne Simmons knows all about it.
Yeah. Yo, does he ever?
There's a picture of Wayne Simmons or Joel Edmondson and Ben Sherratt with that cross. They were both cross-checking Wayne Simmons at the same time and both broke their sticks over his head. You remember that picture?
Oh, I
2
saw it
Montreal
today,
Canadiens. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. So I mean, Wayne Simmons knows all about it. So I got from Akuma's Deception. I got a question here from Akuma's Deception. Why does Pasta always outplay Matthews? And before you answer that, CP, my take on that is because David Pastrnak fucking hates the Leafs. And Matthews does not hate the Bruins. It's like the whole Shoresy thing. Like, you know, these guys like to win. They don't hate to lose.
Yeah, spot on there. Pasta's a gamer. There's no question. And it's not just Pasta. Like, Boston, as like you said at the top of this, like 7 games in a row now that they've beat the Leafs. So it's just like, yeah, they come out to play the Leafs. A lot of like the Leafs that play here, don't I guess care about the rivalry that we all remember. But I mean, I think that like Pasta's just as elite as Matthews is. So I think to say that, like, why does he always outplay him? Like, I mean, he's just on par. Like, why does McKinnon always outplay Matthews? Like, I don't know, he showed up to play and he's a really good player. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer, CP. Okay, so back to the trade deadline stuff. Okay, we got another one from Akuma's Deception here. You think it's a brotherly rivalry with Willie? I can get that. It'd be the same way.
Yeah, that's actually
the same way.
Yeah, like Pasta and Willie are just like the best of buds. They've spent lots of like growing up together, and they played on a lot of hockey together. So that's actually a good observation that possibly he does look at Willie as kind of his opposition. And you know, it sucks because Willie doesn't necessarily look at him like that based on tonight. Like, Willie played amazing last night. I don't know where that was tonight. I don't know if we used all his energy up tonight, but
yeah, I don't know. He looks sick, man. He looks sick.
But he caught it last night then, or actually he played awful in overtime. So like maybe he caught it in the dressing room in the third period last night, because he went from being just like all over the place to he must have caught it late. Matthews must have caught it in the middle, because hopefully he's back on Saturday playing well. But
yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the trade deadline stuff again. You can't teach 6'5", 240. Sam A. McKee, who does Leafs Talk, it was also a post-game show right after the Leafs game, he tweeted that earlier today, and you're not wrong. So Tampa got Duclair today. Florida now has Vladimir Tarasenko. Boston has kicked the Leafs' ass twice in the last week. The Leafs pick up Joel Edmondson. The Leafs have Ilya Lyubushkin now. Do the Leafs have enough to beat any of these guys in the playoffs?
Yeah, like I think actually Boston I would rather play than Florida. So I think that they do actually have a chance to beat them. They proved tonight that they could possibly outlast them physically. So, but when we're talking about just we talked about it last night because of Vegas and Colorado adding their defensemen and stuff. Like that's where I get worried, you know, like that is a way better team. There's no question in my mind. But the Leafs, I think, are in that spot this year where like there's a chance they could go off and do something. Like they've been built for playoffs, it seems. So
I know I feel that way too.
Yeah, so like there's a chance. I feel
way.
better about them now, like at this point, than last year at this point. Even though they added so many players, but I know I'm not. I don't
last
love
year. It was so uneasy because like your stomach was almost turning at the fact that there was a half a new team there. Like, does this team even gel together? These names are great, but it feels like we're playing a video game here, and like I'm not sure this is actually going to work. On paper, it looks sweet, but Or is it going to work? And this team is like the same group. It's just been the same group. You have, I mean, 2 more third-line defensemen, one right-handed, one left-handed, kind of depth guys. But, I mean, they're going to play roles on this team because the Leafs need those guys to do that kind of thing. They're not really a changed team. They are who they were at the beginning of the season. They've come together as a group, and they just had that massive winning streak, a way bigger winning streak than they've had in any other season since Matthews. Like, since I can't even remember. It's been a long time, like maybe 10 years or 15 years since Matthews has been here for sure. But it's been a really, really long time that they've had since they've had a long win streak that long. And my point is that this team is a team that could come together in the playoffs with this team toughness. I mean, look at Florida. They shit the bed all last year, came together, and now all of a sudden they're a powerhouse. Something just clicked, and maybe it'll just click. You never know.
Yeah, I think that like each GM should have a limit on how many moves they're allowed to make, because it just doesn't make sense when you do too many. And if we had done that to Kyle Dubas, there'd be a lot more assets laying around if you limit them to like 3 moves. That's all you're allowed all year.
No limits. I disagree. No limits. I want all the moves. We're doing all the moves. I like the moves. We got some funny comments from Paul here too. You guys talking about toughness, and he called Matthews a soft son of a bitch. What the hell, Paul?
I mean,
well,
I'm okay.
Frustration.
Yeah, I'm okay with people like.
I think the man's sick tonight, though.
Yeah,
like very sick.
Yeah, but like, if that's your opinion from watching him since he's been here as a Leaf, like, I'm not gonna judge you if that's your opinion. It's just I don't think he's like soft. I just think that like the whole core has trouble kind of getting up and coming out for big games. If you think that makes him soft, then so be it. But I just think that like tonight's not a great example of it.
I mean, there's been lots of times proven before Matthews is quite soft. He did turn it around a little bit last year, fighting back against Stamkos. But like history shows, Matthews is not a physical. He throws hits, but he doesn't like to throw hands and get into scrums. He's just not that kind of player. He's not that kind of guy. But I think a lot of it, not be showing up tonight, was this flu bug going through the room because everybody looked like shit. I mean, they just came off a huge run. They like literally last night, you're talking revisionist history, within 24 hours, last night, Matthews scored the OT winner.
He looked like shit the entire game, though. So, like...
And he still scored the OT winner.
Yeah, it is true. But, like, it was, like, probably the only minute of play that I would accept from Matthews from last night's game. But, yeah, like, he has there's no question the ability's there. Like if this team, if we could rewrite all of history, I would have already traded one of these 4 guys for a great defenseman. But going into right now and the team that we have, like, I don't hate them like I have at certain points. Like, I feel like there's some dig deep, and it sucks that it's coming from the guys that have 1 year left on their contract. But like, at least we're getting it somewhere. It's nice to see like actually getting winning the physical battles as a Leaf fan is just new, and it makes me excited about just being a Leaf fan.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's wrap this one up out of here. So the Leafs play the Canadiens Saturday in Montreal. What should we be watching for in that game?
Well, I just hope that everyone's kind of feels better and is recovered, because like I just can't watch any more of these blah games from the Leafs. So I just want to see energy, like kick the crap out of them, and hopefully Sammy just comes out and continues to make us think that he's our playoff goalie. That'd be great. And actually seeing Joel Edmondson, actually, like, I'd like to see some cross checks to the back. I want to see why we brought him here. So he's not necessarily, they showed a lot of him fighting tonight, which like just isn't like necessarily his thing.
The hit that they put on him, like I know that there's a conspiracy out there, and like even Dangle hinted on it, that like Rogers likes to shit on the Leafs, but like it was a TSN game tonight, and they ran a highlight pack of Joel Edmondson, and he lays a big hit, and he eats shit right after that hit. Like, why do you gotta make him look like that? Like, I don't know. Like, your whole point of like the fights don't look great. I think that's just he's probably gonna have some good moments, and I think that's just probably somebody having fun and clowning on the Leafs a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't mean that he didn't look good. I just mean like they're showing him in that sense, and like to me, that's not his thing. He's not going to go out there and fight the other team. Like, he's going to go out and cross-check the other team. You know, like heavy sticks.
He's a dirty
like
son of a bitch. I guess this is who we are now. We're just like nasty, dirty bastards of a team.
I love
that's
that.
who the back end's going to be. All of a sudden, it's just changed. Things have changed around here. So, yeah, we'll be looking for Joel Edmondson and whoever else the Toronto Maple Leafs pick up tomorrow, because tomorrow, 3 p.m. is the NHL trade deadline. We're all looking forward to see if Brad Treliving has any moves left in the chamber there, any bullets left in the chamber. Bang, bang. We'll see. But, yeah, we got Leafs Canadians again Saturday. We will be back then. For now, that's a wrap. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in so much. Thanks for commenting.
Yes, thanks for
Don't
the
forget to
comments.
hit that like button on the way out of here. Subscribe to our YouTube, please. And please rate and review the show. You can find us on X at STDP Hockey and search for Split the Defense on all other socials. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Split the Defense,
Split the defense.
Leafs Postgame Edition. Hosted by Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, and producer Ted Evans. Split the Defense is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas.